If you want to feel the wind blowing through your hair and see the great city of Nashville at the same time, check out Nashville Scooter Tours. Trekking through the downtown streets to Music Row with Nashville Scooter Tours is safe, eco-friendly, and a whole lot of fun. They use Xenon electric scooters that go 55 miles on a single charge. Find out more by calling 615-290-5563 or book your reservation today at NashvilleScooterTours.com. If you're looking to learn guitar, check out Dave Isaac's Guitar Studio on Music Row. Whether you are a beginner or hobbyist, to professional songwriter or artist, Dave offers a unique and powerful method of instruction that teaches not just the instrument, but the whole musician. Find out more at NashvilleGuitarGuru.com.
Today on Music Business Week, we are talking to world-renowned music supervisor, producer, and author of Make Me a Star, the one and only Anastasia Brown.
Jeff Meeks and Chris Austin invite you to watch your favorite sports event at the Batter's Box at 43 Hermitage Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. The Batter's Box offers shuttle service to all Titans home games. It's a great place for friends to gather for the game and after the game. So check out the Batter's Box Bar and Grill, and thanks again for sponsoring the show. Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkopolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Music Business Week. Our guest today is Anastasia Brown. Anastasia, thank you for being here.
Love being here with you.
You have worked as a music supervisor on so many movies, so many fabulous soundtracks like August Rush and Footloose. You were a judge on the show Nashville Star. You've managed artists. You've written a book for aspiring artists called Make Me a Star. You have earned several awards, and including being nominated for an Oscar, a Grammy, and a Dove nomination. Take us back to the beginning. How did this awesome career get started?
By making a bunch of mistakes and taking it one step at a time. I've played in bands. Incognito was my Pat Benatar cover band in high school.
Really?
and then I was in a band called What the Funk in college.
Two fabulous names
What
for
the
bands.
Funk, yeah. And so just love music.
Yeah.
You know, singing choirs. My dad's a priest. So then but back then, way back then, I'm dating myself, they didn't have music colleges.
Right.
Like they do now. I mean, so how do you know what job you can get within the music industry if you didn't want to pursue a record deal? And I knew I didn't want to pursue a record deal, but I wanted to work in the music industry. So I just moved to Nashville and kind of started finding my way, and thankfully met Miles Copeland, and we just connected, and he's responsible for The Police, Sting, REM. I mean, he's legendary. And he was my mentor for almost a decade, and we, launched Keith Urban, and I found him at Bluebird, and, worked with Waylon Jennings and Sting and Peter Frampton, and it was the 90s were a good decade for me. And then I transferred to film and TV.
Right, and then you also transitioned into being an on-camera personality.
Yes.
And so I remember when you got the gig with Nashville Star.
Yep.
Did you enjoy that?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Free clothes.
Yeah.
but I also loved, the one thing I really miss about management is nurturing and spotting new talent, believing in it when no one else does, and your faith is not shaken when you know that when you say, if someone says, oh, it's from Australia and he has a tenor voice and he will never get a record deal and country radio would never play a carpetbagger, and you hear all these no's, but you just know in your gut without a doubt that you believe in something that matters, and so that's what I miss about management. So Nashville Star and nurturing these artists really kind of gave me what I missed the most back.
Yeah. It was a successful show. We're going to take a look at a clip from the now defunct show, but fabulous show at the time.
USA,
launched people like Miranda Lambert,
Chris Young,
Yeah.
Casey Musgraves, who's one of my all-time favorite artists that's happening right now.
came out of the show. Let's take a look at a clip from Nashville Star.
Jared, this hurts me more than you, but your performance was vanilla and forgettable, and I have a funny feeling this is our first and last date. I'm offended by your strategy. I really do think you're a suck-up. I'm not okay with that, so you need to change your plan. I am dizzy and my ears are bleeding. Jenny, I know you're probably just as surprised as I am that you're still here. That song and that performance was yawn-inducing. Your performance, it was just okay.
How did you get started in music supervision specifically?
That was really a challenge. It's really a hard business. I mean, it's just supervisors in LA are, scrapping for every film that they get, and being based in Nashville makes it that much more challenging. But I was forced to make a career change because marital conflict. I couldn't manage any artists on any labels because I was married at the time to someone at a label. So it was kind of becoming challenging within the politics within record labels. So I realized that, everyone calls me for Nashville music for a movie or film, because I know a lot of those people. And might as well just jump into it, commit to it. And so Les Boheme hired me on Taken for DreamWorks, and in
the TV show Taken.
Yeah, the miniseries.
The miniseries, okay.
And we won an Emmy for best miniseries with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
And that was in 2003, and it just went on from there.
And then after that, did they ask you to do August Rush and some of the features?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how has the supervision game changed in the last 20 years?
Greatly. I mean, in the last 2 years, it's changed a lot.
Wow.
Since I started. Imagine I have hundreds of thousands of music in the cloud, of songs in the cloud. Just imagine before the internet.
You would have to have like a warehouse.
A warehouse of vinyl
filled with the physical
vinyl
music.
CDs.
Wow.
And how would you search for new artists and breaking artists? And I really use the web and the internet to find new artists. There's a great story for Footloose. I was looking for a very haunting voice. I didn't care if it was a big star or an unknown, but I knew I had the sound in my head that for Holding Out for Hero, because the director wanted to do that song down tempo. And if you think about that awesome Bonnie Tyler song, you don't remember the lyrics because the music was so great and also disco. But those lyrics are about someone so desperate for a good man or boy in her life, young man or man. And just, she's not going to go for plan B. She wants that she's going to hold out for a hero. And so I just was searching, and I had a lot of people record the song, and it was a very important moment. I found this little girl on MySpace, 15, and she recorded it, and Tracy Gershon just jumped in there and made a big difference in her career, and they changed the whole film to accommodate the whole song.
And who is the artist?
Alan May Bowen.
Yeah. Wow. Let's talk about picking the great song. What are some of the challenges that you have acquiring film? Because sometimes finding the perfect song is the easy part.
Yeah.
Securing that song.
Oh my gosh.
What's that like?
Oh, it is. It is. Sometimes it's heartbreaking. When the first couple of projects I did, I got really attached to the song, so much so that I would relearn my French to get this French song I had by Serge Gainsbourg. I had to talk to his grandchildren to try to clear the song, and so I was trying to remember all my French and then beg him in the middle of the night to get that song, and that moment worked. I got the song, but sometimes you don't get the song, and you just can't. I now know you can't get attached to it because you might not be able to clear the song.
Yeah, it's interesting how you get attached to things because, my husband works in advertising, and some those editors sometimes become the voiceover people because maybe you had a big star in mind, but sometimes you do get attached, and you have to be able to free yourself up from that.
Yep, but also I'm not afraid to fight for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got this, I'm working on this FX show called The Americans, and we wanted Phil Collins in the air tonight. Mm-hmm. That was not an easy clearance.
Yeah.
And literally there was one night before we locked picture where none of us were sleeping. And then I just got this idea, because I wasn't sleeping, of a different approach to get the song. And I went that approach, and I got the song.
Wow.
I won't tell you the approach, but
Whatever.
but it worked. I had to go.
Whatever
I had to
works.
leave at New York and go to London.
I'm just curious, how do you get paid on these jobs? Is it usually just like, this is the budget and this is how much you're going to get, or if you get X, Y, and Z, you get extra? Or how does it work?
Well, you get points on the soundtrack if there is one.
Okay.
And then for TV, there's every network has a per episode rate, and if it's extremely music driven, like Smash, which Format just got that TV show, and which is my music supervision company. Not that I own; I'm just a part of Format.
Right.
And so that's exciting because I love that show.
Yeah.
And so they probably changed the budget for the music supervisor on a music-driven show of that nature.
Right.
And
You must
so
have to
then
work with
for
lawyers
film-
and stuff, though. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of clearing. There's actual, like,
I
working.
do for TV. I do the clearing.
Oh my
for
gosh.
films,
Yeah.
the studio does the clearing. That's so nice.
Tell us exactly how you would clear a specific song.
I have send out a quote request. Sometimes when I know how much money I have I typically put a budget together, and there's going to be a really important music moment, and I'm going to put, depending on the budget of the film or the show, I'm going to put a bigger, amount for an important music moment.
Yeah.
And then, so then when you're at a diner, jukebox, someone driving in a car, there's dialogue over the music. That's not that important, but it can help, an independent artist. So I really try to use independent artists for that instead of, I'd rather give the artist all my money rather than a label and a publishing, and so that's what I really search out, unsigned indie artists.
And will you listen to unsolicited stuff?
I actually do, and I probably shouldn't, because I'm putting myself in harm's way because of the lawsuit Happy Society of America. So we're really not supposed to, but I find my music in the most unusual places. I mean, on Facebook, on people's websites, and I like when people post their website or a new video or a song on my Facebook page. I actually do listen and watch, because you never know when you're going to find your next favorite song.
That must be really encouraging to a lot of people out there to hear that. They're right now posting on your Facebook page. Everybody stay right where you are. We're going to be right back after a brief word from our sponsor.
From the family grocery hauler to fire-breathing racing engines, the one name you need to know is USA Motor and Machine, located at 51 Cleveland Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. Give them a call at 615-726-3725 or at usamotorandmachine.com.
We are back with Anastasia Brown. Let's talk about your book, Make Me a Star. This book is really awesome. Tell me, how you got the idea for this, and what are some of the key advice in this book for artists and musicians?
I put my heart and soul into that book, and I'm so proud of it. And the approach, I had already begun music supervision, and I was on Nashville Star when I wrote it. And whenever I was really honest with an artist on the show, or if I find a new artist for a film, they ask advice on what should I do next, what I'm doing wrong, what am I doing right, and I just try to give them honest feedback, even if it's something I've learned from a mistake I made myself. And so I kind of approached it like that. All right, I called Keith, and I called Reba, and I called Hart, and I called Don Was, and I say, from your mistakes, please give these aspiring artists advice on what to do and what not to do, and how you made it. I mean, Don Was' story in here is so awesome, because he actually, he and his band for Was Not Was, actually pretended to be a courier and brought a song to, pretended to be a DJ at a radio station, brought a song to the label and saying, this is the hottest single at my radio station.
That's pretty creative.
Exploding. And they got a record deal. So, but right now I'm writing the second edition, because this is 5-6 years old, and my business has changed. The advertising, I really want to dig into advertising, because artists can make so much money in that world, and I've learned a lot about it since I wrote this book. So within 6 months, go to my website and you can get the ebook and the second edition with much newer knowledge.
That is great. And you also lecture on this stuff, and you give live presentations and stuff of this information. So it's really good stuff. And you can get it on Amazon? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk about being a female in a male-dominated industry. And what kind of special challenges have you come up against being a female, or perhaps advantages? And what kind of advice do you have for girls watching this and coming up and wanting to go into this business?
Oh, great question. I'm telling you, when I first started in 1994 with Miles as a manager, I was 26, and there's 2 other female managers. And so I started slicking back my hair in a bun, wearing glasses and these very serious suits so people would take me seriously. Well, it just wasn't me. And I wasn't authentic. And so thankfully, I quickly learned that I can't be me in this fake costume. And so I just started being me and being very honest. And I used to pretend, if I didn't know something, I would pretend I knew it. But when you know, you can't fake it. Yeah. So I realized, I'm going to be honest, I don't know the answer to that question, but let me call Miles and I'll get you an answer. I don't want to misguide you. So it's just being honest, learning, really learning from everyone around you that has more experience than you, and then not being afraid to make a mistake. And just, you know, the one thing I say in the book is, what's the very first think of when you wake up in the middle of the night or when you wake up in the morning? What can you just, some people think they want to sing, but they're thinking about songwriting more, and they don't even realize it, but they think, you know, the big prize is singing on a stage. But their true heart passion is writing a song, and that's what they think of more often than not. So just really listening to yourself, and then and fine-tuning your dreams. A lot of people focus on a dream that's really not what they're meant to do,
or too vague, maybe.
Yeah, and so you know, you're causing a lot of heartache when you don't need to. So just every year, try to look at your career, see what's working, see what's not. Get the dead leaves out the window and focus on what's working.
And sometimes being a female can be an advantage.
Yes. I mean, I used to get, you know, pats on the ass. I'm sure you did too. And instead of being offended, just roll with it and laugh about it and then
turn them into HR.
Yeah, no, you can't in this business.
No,
you never get hired.
It's a feely business.
But you don't have to allow yourself to be, you know, put in a position where you're really uncomfortable. But when it's very innocent, and obviously you're not a guy in a male-driven industry, and you just have to, you know, use that to your benefit. Right. You know, maybe, you know, while they're distracted, then you could actually get a better deal or higher deal points. Don't fight it, embrace it.
You're working on a new project. It's very cool, The Americans. Tell us about it.
Well, I love it because I really, Ronald Reagan is, when I was in, you know, high school or junior high school, I was head of his campaign, because we did our own vote.
At your school?
Yeah.
Not the national campaign?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't even vote at the time. And so, you know, so it's during, you know, Ronald Reagan just gets in office. The Cold War is at its highest point, and everyone's on the trigger. Russia and America is on the trigger, ready to, you know, pull it. So the sleeper cells are Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys. Great, and she was in August Rush.
Yeah,
love her. She's amazing.
So good in that movie. Yeah.
And so they've been Americanized 100%. They don't speak any Russian. They've gotten rid of their Russian names. They have high school American students. They've lived there since, you know, for 8 to almost 20 years, and living in a neighborhood right next door to you. They could be your next door neighbors. Yeah. And so all of a sudden, the sleeper cell is no longer sleeping, and it's cool. It's a very dramatic, edgy. The same producers as Justified, so you know, you'll understand.
Yeah.
what direction.
That must be having so much fun with that music, and it's period music too.
Yeah, I can't use any music that was not released before after 1982.
82.
Yeah.
We have a clip from The Americans that Anastasia's doing the music for. Let's check it out.
The greatest threat the United States now faces is the Soviet Union.
Hello?
The Americans have no intelligence. Undercover agents hiding all over the U.S. No one has any idea who they are. Well, they look like us. They speak better English than we do.
Maybe there's another way.
I would lose everything before I would betray my country.
You're my wife.
Is that right?
The Americans premieres January only on FX.
So cool. You must be having so much fun with that one.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else? Anything else coming up, working on?
I'm writing a couple other books. After I finish the second edition of that, I'll jump into, it's kind of a, like this book that Andrea Buchanan created that you wrote a chapter for too.
From the first book. Yeah.
this
Note
is her
to
second
Self.
book.
This is the new one.
Yep.
It's so cool.
And so this is, but these books will be really inspiring to kids who are confused about their career, not just in music, but every industry under the sun.
Okay,
And
so
the
that's a massive
worldwide
audience.
yeah. I mean, I actually, my great-grandfather was the first president of Latvia.
Oh, wow.
And so I actually reached out, because I was fortunate to meet her, but I think the 6th president of Latvia is a woman. She's alive, but she was one of the very first women presidents in the world, and she got Latvia into the UN before all these other bigger countries got in. She's just brilliant. So she's going to write how to kind of chapter if you're interested in politics and
forget
every
the music
industry.
business. I want to be president of a small country.
I know.
Careful
Me
what
too.
you ask for.
So keeping busy.
Yeah,
and
super
producing
busy.
TV shows, waiting to hear, waiting for a green light on one.
Yeah.
You have to be so patient.
Yeah. Do you just jump when the phone rings?
Oh,
That's
God.
it. It's been greenlit.
I
No,
know.
it's the plumber.
I know. I mean, you got Matthew McConaughey, Nigel Lithgow, and we're still all waiting on a green light from the network.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee you'll get it.
Yeah.
So you just, once again, like getting a song, you have to kind of let go a little so you're not devastated when something doesn't work.
Right. Cool. Well, Anastasia Brown, thank you so much for being here on
Nice to
Music
be
Business
here.
Week at Talkopolis. The lights are on.
Yay!
We did it.
You were awesome.
Check out AnastasiaBrown.us, right, for more information about when the books are coming out or when you may be speaking in a town near somebody out there. And thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Microcasting for your city. Talkopolis.